Hi, Paul Pearson here, continuing on with a series of articles taken from my book I put back to together back in 1996 called Letters to the Editor, A Christian View. This is my letter responding to an article titled United Nations Women's Conference Opens with Calls for Equality. And I'll begin to read. This international conference on women taking place in Beijing, China, will be a sounding board for many problems that are troubling women around the world. But to me, it seems ironic this gathering will be in a country notorious for its abuses of women. This could be a way of drawing attention to the shortcomings of the hosting nation, but in my opinion, it sends the wrong message to every country struggling to do the right thing on human rights. For if China is not below hosting such an important event, I see little to hinder any country, no matter how unrepentant, from holding similar events. It seems responsibility has again taken a backseat to power and money. As for the single most important issue that will likely surface at this conference, it is somewhat reminiscent of the last year's conference in Cairo, Egypt, which focused on population control. Anyone who has been following world events can see the writing on the wall. The gathering will primarily focus world attention on the moral question of reproductive rights. In other words, is it right to absolve women from the responsibility of caring for the life growing within? There will be tremendous pressures from some delegates to bully governments into promoting, defining, and guaranteeing what is in reality is a pro-abortion agenda. And not only that, but to underwrite the expenses incurred from this murderous policy. Obviously, we have an increasing problem in caring for, feeding, and employing our growing populations. But how in the world can we justify the eating of our young, as it were? This discarding of life in the womb is sending out a terrifying message of desperate hopelessness. It seems whales, baby seals, and spotted owls are of much more importance than our own progeny. Instead of pursuing the bankrupt and self defeating philosophy of abortion on demand, why not pursue some of the reasonable and responsible methods in controlling the birth rate? Why not encourage, promote, and educate people about the relatively simple methods of natural family planning along with Judeo Christian tenets like faithfulness and commitment in marriage? Do we have so little faith in humanity to relegate ourselves as beasts of the field with little or no capacity for moral restraint? The promotion of this kind of worldview is making a number of dubious professions and special interest groups very wealthy at the expense of everyone, including the women in crisis. We must continue to speak out and oppose these fraudulent ideas that fly in the face of nature and of nature's God. There is a much better way than giving in to the deceptive quick fixes and convenience that abortion would suggest. It's called acting responsibility, believing in absolutes, and not giving in to selfishness. It is relying on Scripture's reasonable guidance given of God to protect and provide for our welfare. If we ignore these guidelines, we do so at our peril. The nations of the world appear to be suffering an identity crisis at this pivotal moment in history. To regain our bearings, we must come full circle back to the basic principles of faith, to respect God who has made us, redeemed us, and will call us into account one great morning. Hopefully, this conference will focus honest attention on the greatest single injustice of our day, the sacrificing of our young as a convenience and a right. This deception is so counterproductive to who we really are as God's special creation, and continuing to remain silent on this issue severely limits our credibility and witness to the other great struggles of our day. We have come to a cowardly time on the rights of the unborn. Let us rise up and commit ourselves to the worth of each soul, encouraging every man, woman, and child to a growing desire for truth and confident hope in the future. Let us speak out with all the fervor that we can muster. No one has the right to do what is wrong. There is no choice for silence, and there is no excuse for denying these innocent lives. And I'll end yours in Christ, Paul. Now, my next letter to the editor is titled Abortion Cancer Link Reports Fizzle. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next time, God willing. Bye for now.